Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Donald Trump, all the way.
Mr. Trump was far, far better.
Definitely Donald Trump.
Oh, everybody knows Trump.
Without a doubt, Donald Trump.
President Trump has been kicked off another state ballot. A circuit judge in Illinois disqualified him from the March 19th primary. But Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett says this stunt will suffer the same fate as Colorado's measure.
Well, the Supreme Court will dispense with that. The oral argument was 3 weeks ago today. So, they'll come out with their decision sometime soon. But this latest decision from what is essentially a low-level circuit court judge in Cook County, Illinois, I read it. This is a political statement. It's a stunt. It is not a well-reasoned decision. She relied almost entirely on the Colorado decision, which was deeply flawed and turned the meaning of the Constitution on its head. It's obvious from the recent Supreme Court hearing that the High Court will overturn Colorado, will not disqualify Trump from the ballot.
School resource officers are getting removed from Chicago city schools. Bronson Woodruff has more.
The Board of Education in Chicago voted, and now it will end its contract with Chicago Police. This means there will be no more uniformed police officers patrolling the city's schools. Fox reports Chicago has 634 total schools, with resource officers patrolling 31 of them. Nicholas Sposato is alderman of the 38th Ward in Chicago. He was starkly against this move to get rid of officers.
Way more than a bit of bad news, and I hope it's not bad news, but I'm very, very concerned. I did take a shot at them at the end and let them know that blood will be on their hands if anything happens.
Sposato talked about some of today's issues.
They don't have any morals. They don't care. So you just, unfortunately, you can't have enough police in schools. We see the mass shootings in schools. We see the bullying. We see just kids coming to school with guns. Certainly in the city, maybe not as much in rural areas, but certainly in the cities, it's a big problem. And there was 31 of us that wanted to keep them and 19 that didn't want to keep them. So they won, we lost. So
he clarified the school resource officers, or SROs, will be there for the rest of the school year. But come the 2024-2025 school year, the SROs will be gone.
They're saying they're going to give them money to do what they want with it, so to use it as they feel. If they want to hire security guards, they can, but they can't be uniformed police officers. They can't have guns.
I'm Bronson Woodruff.
More Americans applied for jobless benefits last week. Applications for unemployment benefits rose by 13,000 to 215,000 for the week ending February 24th. More news online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Keith.
Good evening, everyone, everywhere. It is time. It is the night. Or Nick at Night. That's me. Well, let's see what we got tonight. I'm going to look at, let's go first to Babylon Bee and see what they have for us. It's always a good warm-up for the broadcast. Well, usually, anyway, to get the juices flowing here. 10 great things for parents to do with babies. Yes, 10 great things you can do with babies instead of aborting them. I like it. Yeah, I gotta love babies. They're fun people. Most of the time. Yes, you get through the chores part, and they're pretty spectacular. Many people seem to not know this, but there are some really wonderful things about babies, and all you have to do is keep them alive to find out for yourself. Still skeptical? The Babylon Bee has compiled the following list of great things you can do with little babies instead of aborting them. 1. Dress them up in hilarious costumes. There are few things better than watching a tiny, clumsy person dressed as a chicken or whatever. Number 2, arm wrestle them and watch them marvel at your extraordinary might. You know you could use the confidence boost. Number 3, make them giggle and feel the infinite well of joy bubble over within. Let me try to read that again. Make them giggle and feel the infinite well of joy bubble over within your immortal soul. You haven't truly experienced life until you make your child laugh. Number 4, absolutely destroy them at Mario Kart. There may not be a more solemn duty for a parent. Yes. When I was a parent, I don't think they had. Oh, I don't know if I could say that or not. Because my youngest is 23, so never got into games, and I don't. Yeah, didn't have any Game Boys or all that, what do you call the game things in my house. Anyway, let's see. Number 5, put little tiny baby shoes on them. Little tiny baby shoes. Okay. 6, use them to drive in the carpool lane. Nothing wrong with cutting down on travel time a little bit. 7, give them cool names like Samwise or Frodo. Just don't go over with Meriadoc. Okay? A little Lord of the Rings humor there. Number 8, tell them to pull on your finger. Classic. That's indeed. 9, see how high you can toss them in the air. Still unclear who enjoys this more, dad or baby. It's true. It is true. 10, discover eternal purpose and meaning in your own life as you watch them discover, piece by piece, the beauty and grandeur of the universe. An easy, simple way to find reason in your existence. Indeed, I agree. Have more babies. They're wonderful. I wanted, I would have wanted 20 children if I could have them, ever since I became a young parent at the age of 23 when my first daughter was born. But, 20 children, not even 12 or 7 or 5 was in the cards for me. It's really up to God. Just try to have as many as you can. Usually he will limit it, but sometimes, but make sure you're up to the task. Well, if you aren't up to it, that's what the children are for. You just have to apply yourself and get up to it with a lot of prayer and supplication. Okay, next. 9 surprising results from Biden's physical. Yes, indeed. I guess we're going to have to take a look. Good to see you there, Bob. I think that's No Bucks in the chat room. Is that Bob from PA? Is my memory serving me right? Am I actually remembering things in my old age? Yeah. Let me start this up here. Yes, it is Bob. Okay, 9 surprising results from Biden's physical. President Joe Biden underwent his annual physical exam, and despite evidence to the contrary, he is apparently still alive. That's not the only startling discovery that came out of the exam. However, the Babylon Bee has obtained copies of the medical record and can now reveal the following surprise findings. 1. He arrived with his stool sample already in his pants. The doctor appreciated the president's initiative. Number 2, the suspicious mole on his arm turned out to be just melted chocolate ice cream. This was discovered when he licked it off mid-exam. Okay. Number 3, there was a crayon up his nose that had been pressing on the frontal lobe of his brain this whole time. Well, that explains a lot. Number 4, there's a tapeworm living in Biden's intestines that he nicknamed Barack. Sounds about right. Yeah, I thought he would have named it. What was it? Never mind. I'm having a Biden moment. I can't find the word. It escaped me. 6, he's under the impression that his wife is a doctor. Poor guy. 7, his carotid arteries are 98% blocked with chocolate chip ice cream. 2% of blood reaching the brain. Not bad. Yeah. 8, his cognitive ability is the best of any president in history. Wait a minute. That's right. Just like he got more votes than any president ever in the history of the world. Okay. Number 9, there are currently 3 different types of dementia warring for supremacy in his brain. That sounds more like it. All in all, much less concerning than anyone could have predicted. He's still every bit as fit to lead as Jimmy Carter. Wait a minute. Is Jimmy Carter still alive? Or I thought he died recently. Or am I just remembering wrongly? Am I having another Biden moment? That must be the question I ask. I think Jimmy Carter's dead. So, yes, that's great. All right, moving on. Breaking. Ukraine to lose top Republican Senate seat. Oh, now that one is funny. That's right. Ukraine is Ukraine to lose top Republican Senate seat. Yeah, he's more of a senator for the state of Ukraine than Kentucky. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, we don't have anybody showing up in our chat rooms here except Bob from PA. Yeah, and I know there are other people listening, unless they're not listening and they just have the stream on, so their numbers are popping up on the screen. So I don't have to feel alone. Okay, bomb squad called into New York Times offices after discovery of suspicious Chick-fil-A bag. Okay. See, presidential physical off to rocky start after Biden eats knee kick hammer thingy. Yeah. All right. New poll finds presidential race in dead heat between uncommitted and none of the above. Yeah. Uncommitted, none of the above. That must mean Trump is in the lead, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's still a mystery to me what's going to happen in November of this year. Yeah. A lot of stuff swirling around out there, but I don't have a clue. John Arthur knows what's going to happen. He tells us every night. Only trouble is he keeps changing his story, so I'm not sure he really knows what's going to happen. Okay, next, McConnell and Biden are, they're big on Babylon Bee. Good to see you in the chat room, whoever you is. Yeah, if you press on that little people icon button there, you can change the you into your name. Yeah. Then we wouldn't just have to say, hey, you, change your name. All right. Next. McConnell acknowledges he is no longer fit to be senator. Oh, acknowledges he is no longer fit to be senator, will keep being senator until 2027. So he's going to fill out 2026, and then he won't be senator after that. I'm glad he announced that, 3 years in advance or 2 years in advance, whatever it is, 2.5 years in advance. And, well, that's what we get from the Babylon Bee. At least I got a couple good laughs out of it today. Keep up the good work over there, Babylon Bee. That's all I have to say. Yes, indeed. Well, let's see, what else do we have here? What do we got here? Oh, I got a Chuck Baldwin article. Yes, Joe Biden should be charged with treason for refusing to secure the borders. And Chuck has written a whole article on this. And all I can say is I agree with the title. Not necessary for me to read the rest of it, because I'll just agree with almost everything he's going to say. Yeah. But probably on this topic, 100% in agreement with Chuck Baldwin there. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got over here. Comments, questions in the chat rooms. How do I change the font color? Oh, it's Tony. Good to see you, Tony. The font color doesn't look the same on everybody else's as it does on yours. Because on mine, your font color is purple with a gray background. And I went to gray because some people choose white and some people choose black. So I figured I'd get a background color in between so I'd get everybody's color. Sometimes you can't see someone's color. You have to highlight it to read it. Yeah. But it's nice to have choices, right? So anyway, it looks great. I can read it really well. And all that rest of stuff, you can play with it and you'll figure it out. The most important thing is to get your name. Good to see you over there. Mike. Oh, he has Mick Rent. He says, I'm Mike. Okay. So that we have Mike from SoCal, Southern California. Well, I'm in Central California. I'm up here in the foothills of the Southern Sierra Nevadas, between due east, between Bakersfield and Fresno. Yeah, only due east. Well, you know where Visalia and Tulare are, maybe. Maybe you don't. But anyway, I'm due east of those in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. It's a really nice place. Yes, another one. Another Californian? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Well, all these bad things they say about California in the news, I don't see any of them. Nobody's walking out of the stores where I live with $1,000 worth of merchandise. There's no poop on the sidewalks here. It's kind of like, I don't really live in California, but I'm in California is a huge state, and most of the state, geographically speaking, is very conservative. It's just that there's so much population, and like in the LA basin, and then between San Francisco and Sacramento, and then you have the coast. So that's all the liberal parts there, and that is like the majority of the people in the state. The rest of the state is just kind of like the rest of the country, really. Seriously, even better off than many parts in the rest of the country. It's a great place to live as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't like the government, but I really don't have anything to do with them. And that's why I don't even live in a city. I live in a fairly conservative county. We have what you call a constitutional sheriff here, so I'm happy about that. And I think our congressman is is a conservative Republican for this area too. So one of the few. But do we have quakes? Yeah, we have a little shaking once in a while. We've had not anything knocked down buildings or anything, but we've had some shakes and some quakes, but that's just kind of a California thing, you know. Some places worse than it. But our building codes are really good. I mean, where other countries have shakes and their buildings will all fall down, ours will still stand. They'll get damaged. They might even condemn them, but they'll be standing still and haven't fallen on or killed anybody, and they'll condemn them for repairs anyway. Mick says, I noticed Texas also, the only large cities are Democratic in Texas. Yeah, it's kind of like that. And like I said, you know, both when before Obergefell, there was the referendum in California, the voters turned down handily gay marriage. I mean, they wouldn't today, likely, because, you know, they've already had it for 20 years. You can't get rid of something you've already had for 20 years. They did it with abortion, but it needed to be done. Obergefell should have been overturned too, just as well. The Supreme Court and if the federal government has no right in it, then the Supreme Court then there should be no decision for the Supreme Court to judge on, except on state cases in the states, because the federal government should have nothing to do with state issues. They should remain in the states, and that's all they did, is they turned the abortion back to the states, because Supreme Court is not a legislature, but they did legislate Roe versus Wade. Yeah, that was bad, and just like Obergefell too, and just like any liberals will decide to not keep the law, if there were enough of them in the court, they would just start legislating from the bench. Okay, let's see. Yes. Yeah, Bob from PA says the last quake we had was in 2011. Yeah, shakes a little bit everywhere once in a while. Okay, well, let's see what else we got here. But welcome to the rooms, everybody. Nobody's in the... Oh, yes, we do have First Commandment over there all by himself in the Rumble chat room. Thank you for showing up. Comments, questions are great. There's also a text number here. If you want to get my attention immediately, you can text me live on the air, or even if I'm off the air, I'll still answer your text later on, or as soon as I see it, even off the air, because I know there are people that watch this broadcast later on after it's posted. So, okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, see our redacted news here. This says happy Wednesday, and I didn't do a show last night, so we're going to do yesterday's today. Yes, Wendy's is going to start testing Uber-like price surging during certain popular times of the day. If it works, expect this to be a thing everywhere. Well, they changed their mind. They said that they're just going to start charging less in off rush hours. Oh, Mick says, I tried the Rumble side. No one responds over there. Yeah. Well, there's a whole, that's the problem with the problem. Yeah. Well, I know that people do on other shows, just not on mine over there. Just not in First Amendment Radio. I guess we're not as popular. You're welcome. First Commandment over there in the chat room all by himself. We do have the First Amendment Radio chat room, and Tony is by himself in it. So I wish I had a chat room where I could combine them all together. Oh, I do have that. That's the one at First Amendment Radio. Or maybe I should just pick one. Yeah, everybody come over to Rumble. Because there's some stories I'd like to do, but I know that YouTube will strike me dead if I talk about some of these other stories. I know if I was someone else, there are other people that are talking about them, but they can get away with it where I can't. If you talk about the jab, yeah, some people can get away with it. But if the minute I say something, I talked about my own personal experience, not with the jab, but on medical issues that I was having personally, my own, it was the truth. Anyway, they struck me for medical disinformation. And then they made me take a test for hate speech. Go, yeah, medical disinformation. You must, if you want to get rid of this strike, you got to take this test on hate speech. Yeah. No one responds. It's strange for some reason. We want community eventually. That's right. Please don't push your 9 lives. Well, yeah, 9 lives. All right. We're going to finish these news items when I get back. If everyone in the YouTube chat room went over to Rumble chat room, then there would be people chatting over there, huh? Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Something happened to my my break. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I guess I'll have to work on it later. I might have deleted a file or something accidentally. It's likely my fault. Anyway, let's continue with this here. So Wendy's going to start testing Uber-like pricing. Yes, whatever that means. I haven't been to Wendy's in, I don't know, 10 years. I used to go there, used to take my daughter there. She loved the Frosties. Yeah, all my children did. They love the Frosties. So when you have children, you have to go to Wendy's to get Frosties. Moving on, in case you missed it, Donald Trump won the Republican primary race in Michigan, defeating Nikki Haley yet again. And, I don't know. I did miss it. Did you guys miss that out there? Yeah. Well, I missed it. So I guess it was a no contest race. Let's see what it says over here. Oh, get rid of this commercial thing. Get that off of there. Biden, Trump won the Michigan primaries on Tuesday, further solidifying the all but certain rematch between the two men. And vigorous, uncommitted campaign organized by activists disillusioned with Biden's handling the war in Gaza was making headway. It had already far surpassed the 10,000 vote margin by which Trump won Michigan in 2016, a goal set by organizers of this year's protest effort. So protesting against Biden, uncommitted. As for Trump, he has now swept the first 5 states of the Republican primary calendar, but there were early signs that Trump was continuing to struggle with some influential voter blocs who favored former Nimrata Nikki Haley in previous contests. Haley's strong performance Tuesday night came in areas with college towns like Ann Arbor. I was born in Ann Arbor, the home of the University of Michigan, and I used to hang out in the Arboretum. Great place to hang out. Anybody from Michigan? No. And suburbs around Detroit and Grand Rapids. I grew up in the Detroit area, though, even though I was born in Ann Arbor. Used to ride my bike to Ann Arbor. It was close enough. It was a nice little bike ride, though. For Biden, notable percentage of uncommitted voters could signal weakness with parts of the Democratic base. And, yeah, that's enough. That's about all I need to know. Did you miss it? Well, you didn't miss much, I guess. Okay, Germany will deploy troops to Hawaii and the Indo-Pacific this year. What's with that? Huh. Germany deploying troops. I guess I've got to take a look at that. German military coming to Hawaii. Are they going to help with the burnout fire area or something? I heard those people need help. But do we need the Germans helping us? Yes, some of my long-lost relatives there. So I am German and Polish. Yeah, my father was German. See, candidates from the German Army School listened to a discussion about U.S. military equipment during an exchange with soldiers from the 1st Battalion. German military is planning a series of deployments in the Pacific this summer and is looking possibly setting up permanent military liaison position in Hawaii at U.S. Indo-Pacific Command as it refines its regional strategy. I wonder, what is that all about? Well, that doesn't answer any questions. But I guess if you're going to be deployed somewhere in America, you might as well be in Hawaii. I've never been myself, but I used to watch Magnum P.I. on the TV. Does that date me a little bit? All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's close that other tab. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Macy's will close 150 locations, including the flagship Union Square location in San Francisco. And I don't blame them. That'd have to be the first place you have to close, San Francisco. Next, Bitcoin keeps going. The price of Bitcoin surpassed $59,000 on Wednesday, up more than $8,000 this week alone. While Bitcoin's up, while gold seems to be stagnant. That's a lot of money for something that has no value, no intrinsic value. Yeah, to keep going up like that. Who would have thunk it back in when Bitcoin was just pennies? I mean, pennies. Now one Bitcoin is like more than $59,000. That's crazy. Germany says that there is no chance that NATO countries will send troops to Ukraine. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It's probably why they're sending them to Hawaii. Good choice, Germany. That's all I can say. Germany finally makes the right choice. They sent troops to Hawaii instead of Ukraine. Yeah. So, see, no chance that NATO countries will send troops to Ukraine, but the Financial Times reports that they are already special forces from NATO countries there, and everyone knows it. I guess I spoke too soon. But still, a much better move to send troops to Hawaii, because we're not worried about them taking over Hawaii, or we're not worried about the Hawaiians shooting back at them. So, or being at war with their nearest biggest neighbor that they could find, like Ukraine. Yeah. See, Texas had to shut down a nuclear weapons facility due to wildfires in the Panhandle. Okay. Yeah, I heard they got quite a fire over there. That's usually like a California problem, but California's being drenched this year, so which means that I have lots of hay growing out in my field. So my animals are going to be getting fat for the next year or so. Yeah. McRent is over there. First Commandment in the Rumble chat room. Anyone else here? Says, yeah, there must be people over there. Yeah. Okay. Gee, I wonder how badly my time messed up since my break didn't play. That's weird. I'll have to look at that. I just have to watch my clock. All right, Texas, yeah, they shut down. Okay, we don't have to read the article. Over 3,000 people are stranded on a cruise ship because of an outbreak of a stomach bug. Yeah. I guess they're probably breaking out the test strips for COVID. Remember that cruise ship? What was the name of it? From 2020. All right, let's see what else we got here. The gold, yeah, down 0.13%. There you go. So not like Bitcoin. Who would have thunk it that a coin that doesn't exist could be worth more than real gold? Something's wrong with the world, is it not? Yes, Bitcoin up 4%, $59,000. Indeed. It's because people are getting scared of the dollar. They're putting their money in Bitcoin. That's really what's going on. And, the scarcity thing about Bitcoin, where they said there's only a certain amount in Bitcoin and it's unlike money, they're not going to print any more. But you know what they do instead, don't you? Yeah. They just fractionalize it more. I mean, pretty soon you'll be able to count, well, what's 1,000th of a Bitcoin worth? Yeah. Tell me that. If you get $59,000 for one Bitcoin, then what's 1,000th of a Bitcoin worth? Well, I know 1/59th of a Bitcoin is worth $1,000. So you can fractionalize it to death. So they don't need to print more. They just keep fractionalizing it. It goes to infinity the other way. So, yeah, that's all that's happening is Bitcoin is having inflation. It's inflating. That's right. They just have to fractionalize it more. Yes. And Mick says, especially when so many big names are trading in their stocks and buying bunkers, makes you wonder. Well, they got all that money that's just digits in a bank account somewhere. If I had billions of dollars in digits in a bank account somewhere, I'd be thinking, yeah, maybe I want something real. I could build me a really fancy bunker, and a place to put on my gold and silver. Because that anyone who's in his Bitcoin already has enough gold and silver to get through, a financial crash. Because when it crashes, the Bitcoin's going to crash too. Sorry, if they have civil war or or one of these high nuclear events that knocks out the electrical grid. Bitcoin is gone. Zoop, it's gone. So then you want your bunker. So you better get your bunker built now. And I was watching one of these programs where, on YouTube or something, where they visit old bunkers that people built 60 or 50 or 40 years ago, and they're abandoned now and stuff like that. And yeah, pretty cool. People they had a bunker their whole life and never used it. So Just need to find a bunker that someone built, so many years ago. But hey, if you got billions of dollars, I guess you can build yourself a whole new bunker. Yeah. Yeah, instead of crying for the rocks to hide them, they're just, they're just boring into the rocks themselves to hide themselves. As Mike says over there in the chat room, speaking of scripture there. All right, let's see what else we got. Lead, ceasefire or not to cease fire? President Biden expressed optimism about a ceasefire in Gaza, but both Israel and Hamas say that his comments were premature. Biden was hoping the ceasefire would begin next Monday. The rest of us were hoping it would have started yesterday, or last week, or last month, or whenever. So I guess they're not going to be happy until there's no Hamas left. Indeed. Reuters reports that Hamas wants the ceasefire to be permanent rather than 6 weeks. Yes. Israel reported that they don't want no Hamas. They're not working together on it. Anyway, Netanyahu has also said he does not want to delay the planned ground invasion of Rafah. He is speaking of this as if it was already in the cards, but in October when Israel's retaliation began. Rafah is where the Palestinians were told to go. Why is a ground invasion necessary to defeat Hamas? According to Time, President Joe Biden has pointedly told Israel that Rafah should not be the next battleground. Raise your hand if you think President Biden has any say in this whatsoever. I think Biden is just trying to appease all of the liberals and those that are against or for the Palestinian cause or whatever. Because he's losing on every ground, his voting base, if he ever had one. The one that he gained in his basement 4 years ago that got him more votes. What a way to run a campaign. Who would have thunk it, You could run a campaign from your basement and get more votes than anyone ever in the history of the world. Please reiterate your best guess on what year we are close to. Please. Oh. Okay, let me see. I guess I'm almost done with this, and we'll talk about that. More bad news for electric vehicles. Apple has reportedly ditched its plans. Yeah, we all heard about the Apple car is never going to show up. Okay. And, we heard about that. See, they created the ultimate way. No, I think this is a promotion. Okay. China just found something big. China discovered the world's largest metamorphic rock oil field. This means that China now has another massive source of oil and gas. It is not only a boon for China, but for all BRICS nations. Imagine that. China, huge country, they found oil. There's a little oil. If you got enough space, you're going to find some oil somewhere, it seems. The discovery is in the Baha'i Sea, which has been under exploration since 2023. Oh, that's like a year and a half since last year. It's not even a year. So they found pretty quick. All they had to do was look, right? It's estimated the oil field can yield over 30 million cubic feet of crude oil while producing over 11 billion cubic meters of natural gas. It's all down there in the earth. Yes. All that dead dinosaur stuff. So they told me when I was a child. Not sure I believe them, but this will undoubtedly help China reduce dependency on Russia and the U.S. for oil and gas and shift power centers. And so would a BRICS currency, which Russia announced as also in the works, a BRICS currency. Yeah. We might all have to go to BRICS currency. The Russian Finance Ministry said it is working on a BRICS bridge multi-sided payment platform to allow BRICS nations to trade not on the U.S. dollar. Oh no, the U.S. sanctioned itself out of the running. They will be able to boost their own currencies with cooperative trade if this comes to fruition. There you go. Let's see what else we got here. Good to see you, Shelly R. in the chat room. Okay, good to have you back. The United States asked China to urge Tehran to rein in the Iranian alleged Houthi attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea. So we have to ask China, to talk to Iran. What's the world coming to when we have to talk to China about foreign relations with other nations? It's a changing world, is it not? Yeah, it is a shame. Okay, these hero police in China are trending because they use Peppa Pig music to find lost 8-year-old child with autism who had become trapped behind a wall. These hero police, is this one police? I have no idea what these happy faces are. Are they hiding their faces for some reason? Okay, Pokemon is trending because a new game for the Nintendo Switch was announced called Pokemon Legends Z through A. It is due out in 2025. Whatever. Pokemon. Don't know anything about Pokemon. I've heard of it, but still don't know what it is. Willy Wonka is trending because what was supposed to be a chocolate experience turned out to be a dud in Scotland last weekend. It was so bad that attendees complained to the police. There was a movie called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I thought it was a pretty dumb movie myself. I think I watched it with my grandchildren or something. But whatever. You know, some movies you just know you'll never watch again if you have a choice. That was one of them. Yeah. Okay, news by the numbers. 144,000 metric tons. That's the weight of small fish that Norwegian salmon eat from West Africa, according to a new report. The report is causing outrage by saying that those fish could have fed between 2.5 million and 4 million people. Who are they going to be outraged at? God? You know? I mean, these some people are just so the idiocracy of it all. They're going to complain. Moving on. 14.5%. That's how much more the median salary is for men in Australia than women, according to a new report from Workplace Gender Equality Agency, the WEG. Yeah. And 2.5%. That's how much men increase their chances of obesity after they get married. I guess get some cooking women out there, huh? Yeah. They always said that's the way to a man's stomach. Maybe that's why I'm not fat, because I haven't been married most of my life. Let's see. This study hints that it is the husband who is more likely to let themselves go than the wife. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have to admit, my last wife was shorter than me, but weighed more than me, and my second wife also. She was 1 inch shorter than me. She was pretty tall, but she was still 15 or 20 pounds heavier than I was. So I guess I'm just been skinny all my life. That's it. Okay, that's that. Surprise. Puberty blockers don't work. Protect our children. New study out of Germany shows what common sense already tells us. There's no evidence that puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones are effective for children with gender dysphoria, meaning they don't help. Yeah, that's sick. That people would allow that to be done to their children or do it to other people's children. Okay, well, that takes care of the redacted news today. Let's see, what else do I have here? Go back to our images there. Let's see, somebody asked me a question in this chat room here. See if I can get that somewhere. Texas. Oh, please reiterate your best guess on what year we are close to, please. And this is from you in the chat room. Oh, we have another you in the chat room. Good to see you here, Blackbird. And yes, I see you there. And somebody, let's see, whoever, I don't know who you is. Tony was you at first. And unless Tony is you again, I don't know who that is. So if you are in the chat room, please let me know what your name is so I don't have to just call you you. But you in the chat room says, please reiterate your best guess on what year we are close to, please. And I'll do better than that. I will bring up the chart here. See if I go to here, my home page at my website. Home page, please. And there's a what year is it thing there, if you know where that is. And then there's this summary chart. If you click on it, it fills up the page. Yeah. So let me bring it back down here to fit and see what we can do here. All right. This is the summary chart for the whole post there. And this top chart here is the Bible derived era. And it starts with the Genesis. I don't have a pointer or anything because it doesn't show my mouse on the screen, but you can see in the, where is it, over, oh, right there. Yeah, there it says Genesis creation, that's where you start. And then down below here you can see the year. And we have to 26 CE, Jesus was born when? Oh, he's not on this chart. That's on the next chart. But anyway, I have the year for creation, 3946 to 3945 BCE, before the Common Era, the era we're in now, or BC, if you like, before Christ, whichever way. And that brings the year that Christ was born, and that's on the chart below, BC, the year 4 BCE. That's why it's BCE, because Christ wasn't born before he was born, but the Catholic Church has recognized that Exegius Dionysius, the monk that invented the BC dating system, okay, the BC AD dating system, and about 500 AD, that he got the date of Christ's birth wrong. And they suggest 4 to 6, and I'm going with 4. I believe 4 is right. So it's 4 to 5, really. The year 4 or 5 before Christ, he was born. And that's why he was 33 years old in 30 AD, okay? So even the Catholic Church agrees that their monk got it wrong, but they never corrected it. Okay? Got that? Never corrected it. We got it wrong, but we never corrected it. So so Jesus was born about 4 BC, and he was crucified in 30 AD at 33 years old, because he started his ministry 3.5 years before that. He was in his 30th year. So 3 years later, he was 33. And that was in 30 CE. You see the cross there. You see the cross right there. That was in the midst of the week. So 3.5 years on each side of the cross. And if you go to today, or 2055, or the year 2000, really. And I have here, because I made this chart, as you can see at the bottom, in 2015, so 10 years ago. And then we had 35 years, okay, until the seventh millennium begins. So the seventh millennium begins, it's, as I have here at the end of it, at about 2055. So we have it's 2025, we have about 30 years left before the seventh millennium begins. So that's where we're at on the calendar. And please check it out for yourself. This article here, I just opened that. This article here runs you through it all. There's a lot of information. Then you have the genealogies, where we trace the years from Adam, 6 days. So he was created in the first year, born of the earth, I will say. But he was created in the first year on the 6th day, okay? So we can go by Adam, and we have the genealogies that take us to 2 genealogies. One takes us to the flood, and then we have after the flood, and it brings us, the second chart ends with the birth of Isaac to Abraham at 100 years of age, and the year 2049 from the Genesis 1 creation account. And then we move on. We have, it'll take you all the way through it. And from there it takes you have to go to the Exodus, okay? And so we follow the genealogies in the years we have until the Exodus. And then we go from the Exodus, from Isaac to the Exodus is 400 years. And then we go from the Exodus to the 4th year of Solomon's reign was an additional 480 years. So all of this chronology is in the Old Testament to get you up to the chronology of the kings of Judah, which take us to the destruction of Jerusalem by Babylon. So we follow the genealogies of the kings to the destruction of Babylon. And from there, that's where we have the 7 years desolation period after that. But between the desolation period and the kickoff for the 70 weeks of Daniel, there's 58 years difference in there. And that's where the squishy room is, where we don't have anything solid. But so we have to count the kings that reigned in there to come to the first year or the declaration from the Daniel 70 weeks prophecy to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, where it says it will be 483 years or 69 weeks of 7 years unto Messiah the Prince, until Jesus shows up. And that synchronizes us with the Roman calendar at about 27 AD, 3.5 years later, so we can go 3.5 years later, the midst of the week, so 30 AD. And that's where we synchronize when we look at this chart here. And that's why we have 2 charts, and we synchronize them together right here with the cross and at this point here. And that's how I come to the conclusion that I come to, is following that. You says, Tony, please send me a link to that info you shared about the date and timeline, please. Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem at all. I can do that. I'll put it in the chat room for everybody. Good idea. And open up your Bibles and satisfy yourself that, please do that. And there are plenty of comments in there that, because it took years from my first rendition, but my last rendition was about 2013, and then I made some corrections in 2015 and updated some of the charts, but I haven't been able to make any corrections since then. So I think that's about as good as I can get it. Yeah. Okay, so there it is in the chart. What happened there? I mean, in the chat room. They paste that. Okay, so everybody's got the link now. And while you're over there looking at that, make sure you follow my blog and then share that on your social media or whatever you have. Okay? And while you're there, also, if you go to my homepage, when you get there, if you hit the homepage button, because you have the article there, when you hit the homepage button and you go to my homepage, you'll see that there's several more articles at the top, and you can also see what's trending in the left-hand column. But the most popular posting on my website ever since it was posted is the one in the middle, the Empire of the City, the Unholy Trinity that rules the world. And also the next one is Matthew 24 Explained, the Olivet Discourse posting there. So these are like the three popular posts on my website. I guess that's why I have them up there at the top, but because people come looking for them. So anyway, so about 30 years left. I'm hoping it's sooner. I mean, if I was going to do this and it was going to be done by my wishful thinking, I would have wished that Jesus comes sooner. I mean, wouldn't you? Because I'm in my 71st year now, so I got to wait till 2055. That's next year. So so I got to be like 102 to be alive when he comes, if I'm right. Okay. Yeah, but I think I could be off a year either way. Just like the guys that, that when Christ came the first time, they knew it said, 69 weeks unto Messiah the Prince from the going forth of the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. And, so 400 or 500 years later, they're going, well, exactly when was that? What year was that command? And they probably had some good records. So they could probably, because they were looking for the Messiah, and there were false messiahs showing up, quite a few of them around that time because of the prophecy. So the Jews knew when their Messiah was supposed to show up the first time. And of course, nationally, they missed it. And I expect that nationally, America and the West, the Christendom of the earth, Western Christendom is going to miss it as a whole. But there will be the remnant, as there was then, there will be now, who will know when it's coming. They'll know, we know what year it's coming. It'll be coming around 2055. Yeah. Okay. And I'm hoping they get their rapture play done before that. So I'm hoping they get their Abraham Accord back going. And they will, because the Antichrist wants it. He's the main force behind the Abraham Accord, is the Antichrist. So as soon as the present crisis is over, everybody will be, working on peace accords and stuff, and the Abraham Accord will be going forward. It's pretty much just been put on pause now. Blackbird says, I watched a video the other day of 12 siblings all still alive, ages 113 down to 90. Great. Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I see a lot of older people that are really vital and vibrant and in their age. Like we've been talking about this guy, what's his name? David Jeremiah. He's 84, and this guy's up here, at 84, preaching, false prophecy to the church, and still speaking, and he's got a lot more gray hair than me, but I know a lot of people younger than me that have a lot of gray hair. I think that's more of a genetic thing. But so it doesn't look like he's ready to die or anything. And then you got, yeah. Shelly R. says, oh no, no worries. We are to bear one another's burdens. I don't know what that means or what the oh no is about. But anyway, 12 siblings, all still alive. Yeah. So, well, between 90 and 100 and 113. Yep. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I probably have same complaints as a lot of other people my age. My knees hurt a little bit more than they used to, but actually, I used to have a lot more pain when I was younger. That's crazy. Or maybe I've just learned to live with it better. But as far as I'm not on any drugs, I don't have any heart condition, or my eyes are good. I only use glasses for reading. Otherwise, if I walk around, I have to take them off because they're disorienting. But I need them for close up. Anything within a couple feet to be able to read. But you get 3 or 4 feet away, and I'm good. I can see everything perfectly. So, got to have reading glasses to see the screen and read everything in front of me. So I only wear these on the air. Yeah. Okay. Any more? Think of the high-tech walkers you'll have in years. I don't know what that means. High-tech. That's those things with little cages with wheels that you push along and hold on to. Well, yeah, all the people I know that have those things and need those things, they've all just taken horrible care of their wealth. Never cared about, they just ate all the junk food they wanted and stuff. In most cases, they're, just really didn't take care. But, since I don't see doctors and do drugs, and I don't have a medical plan, well, my medical plan is working really well for me. So I really don't need another medical plan. And I'm not a socialist. I don't collect Social Security or get Medicaid. That's what they call it. Or Medi-Cal. I guess in California, it's Medi-Cal. Yeah. And Shelly R. says, I have a big problem with preachers like John MacArthur. Yeah, he's 84, I think, now. And he's doing really well. I was real happy with him, how he treated the whole COVID thing and defied the wicked Jesuit governor over here in California. So I don't know what your problem with John MacArthur is. I mean, I have a problem with his eschatology, but he doesn't major on eschatology. He minors on it. So he majors on sound theology as far as I know. I haven't found anything wrong with his theology. And from what I see, I think he's an upright man. And he's just a fallible man like all the rest of us. He knows that without the blood of Jesus, he would be doomed to hell just like all the rest of us. And that's fine. I've had people try to show me things, but I go, this is just ordinary stuff. I mean, I can't condemn a guy for just being a man or for having a nice home that's worth, $1.5 million, which is probably less of a home than I've had in the past. It's just where it is, that it's worth that much. And that if he has a nice kind of vacation home or something like that, I'm not going to fault him for that. I'd have a vacation home if I could afford one. I used to live in a resort community back when I was younger. And I bought a place up there. I'd have probably still had it today if my wife hadn't left me and left me and my son. And because I had to leave the community there because I lost my babysitter, so I couldn't work if I couldn't get a babysitter. So I had to leave and move down into the valley here. to the foothills here, where I've been ever since. So that's the way that works. That's what life does to you sometimes. Many people confuse the earth being divided during Peleg's time as the continents being divided seems most likely during the flood. Any thoughts on that, huh? I remember studying that back when I was going through those books of the Bible. But it is what it is today. It's interesting, and might be interesting to look into that again and renew my mind on that. So I might give it some thought. But really have nothing fresh in my mind about that to say. See. Blackbird says, I have a problem with the healthcare system, more like death care, so I am trying to take care of my health. Good idea. I commend you for that, and I highly recommend taking care of your own health. Like I said, I haven't been to a doctor since I was a teenager, and they made me get regular, what they call physicals, physical examinations. I think because I was in foster care foster homes, and because I was a ward of the state, I was orphaned. So that's my last. That's one reason why I didn't want to join the military. It wanted nothing to do with institutional life. I hated it. Spending half of my childhood at institutions was not a lot of fun. So I never got to the military. When the draft came and when I was eligible for the draft about 1972, well, younger than 71, my lottery number was 5, and people were going off to Vietnam. Well, Nixon did me a favor before I got drafted. He ended the draft, so I didn't have to go to Canada. Because I likely would have gone, or I would have just, I might have not even fled to Canada. I might have just stayed in the U.S. and just ignored the whole thing. I don't know if they were chasing people down and throwing jail, but he ended the draft, so I was happy about that. My brother, 2 years older than me, he joined the Navy to avoid going into the Army. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, good to see Shauna back in the chat room over there. And, okay, let's see what else I have here as far as news items and things like that. I guess my automation system is not working. but at least I know the show is recording. But I do like to take breaks, but so far I haven't needed one. So, and if I do, I just have to grin and bear it here. Okay, because it's nice to get up and walk around a couple times during an hour, I have to admit. You get stuck in a chair. That's one thing about age is I find it's a little harder to get up and start walking. Yeah, the back depends on how hard I'm working during the day too. Yeah. Let's see. You in the chat room. You is back. I recommend a book called The Normal Christian Church Life by Watchman Nee. I hope you can review it at some point. We all do a lot to expose the errors and should balance exposure of errors with close examinations of what the New Testament scripture structure looks like. Nee does a great job. Oh, well, that sounds interesting. Let me see. Maybe I can find a good used copy of it. I've heard of it, I think. Let me do a search here and see if I can find a good used copy of it. Might be interesting. I'll paste and go. Whoops. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, let's go to Amazon. They got used books there. And the Spiritual Man. And what's the name of the book? Normal Christian Church Life. Let's see. Normal. Oh, there it is. The Normal Christian Life by Watchman Nee. Sounds interesting, you know. I don't think I've had a normal Christian life. It might be interesting to find out what I've been missing. Oh, it's free online, says you. And we're at archive.org. Oh, it says November 4th, 1777. Where's it free online? Send me a link. Yeah, that'll help. And that way everybody in the chat room can get it and read it. And I'll share it with the other chat rooms. If you could do that for me, you, in the chat room. And you is still Tony. I thought you fixed your name and then it went back to you. How did you do that? Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Well, it's $0 on Audible audio. Oh no, that's free with Audible trial. And it might be free on, what do you call it? Okay, let me click on it. It might be free on, nope, it doesn't look like it's on the Kindle edition. It's not Kindle. No Kindle, huh? Oh. Let's see, what year did he write that book? Let me see, read about the authors. One of the most important indigenous church leaders of Chinese Christianity. Huh, well, that's interesting. And, okay. 1903. 1923. So, anyway. Yeah. Okay, well, here's the link. Let me copy that. Yeah, it looks like something I'd be interested in. Let me paste and go here. The Normal Life. Well, there it is in the chat rooms. Here, I'll put it for everybody in the chat room, in the other chat rooms, and you can check it out and find out what you've been missing with the normal Christian life. Yes. They say that he'll never go back to normal. Isn't that what they said? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna download that. Let's see. There's a download button here somewhere. Well, I'm sure there's a download button here somewhere. Okay. Well, I'll figure it out. It's PDF, right? Yeah. So I should be able to download it. Oh, here it is. Download. Save. Okay. Now I've got it. All right. Let's see. Let's see what else I had in my up here. David Jeremiah. Oh, yeah, Johnny Cerrucci. I did talk to him yesterday on the phone. He sent me a bunch of information on David Jeremiah. So I think, who do I have to thank for? I think Shelly R. in the chat room suggested I contact him, or somebody. I don't remember who it was. So anyway, I'm likely going to have him on Wednesday morning. And if I do, I'll just rerun that next Wednesday. So I'll have Johnny on, and we'll talk about, the topic is quite extensive about ghostwriting and who ghost wrote some of these books. These books like The Late Great Planet Earth was ghost written by C.C. Carlson, who is a lesbian UCC minister, passed away now though, but she's also wrote for Billy Graham, Pat Robertson. She's a ghostwriter, so she ghost wrote for a lot of people, whether they knew she was a lesbian then or not. I would doubt on the case of many of these people, but I imagine she went UCC because they blessed off on her homosexuality, he says. So that should be interesting. So that's next Wednesday morning. I'll have Johnny Cerrucci on with me. And he's written several good books on like this one on secret history, and you can look him up. All these are his books here. So he's got Illuminati Unmasked. I think that was his best book, or Eaters of Children. I heard that's pretty good. Or Romans of Mass Destruction. You can see where it's all going with Johnny. Yeah, Johnny. I don't know what. Not sure he's really a Reformed Christian. He's yeah. So I don't know about his Christianity too well. I guess we'll have to maybe ask him a few questions about his spiritual life when we have him on. You guys will have to hold me to account for that. Okay, well, let's see what else we got in the mail here. So he sent me that. Let's see, Technocracy News. Okay. I want to see if I can get my Matt. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, just trying to see what happened to my automation here. Okay. Let's see. Tyson Foods scales up investment in insect protein maker for global food chain. The fact checkers went nuts to shame people for jumping to conclusions about Tyson's partnership with Protix. Protix, huh? So we're really getting to the bottom feeders on bugs when we're talking about insect protein and ticks. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. My dogs hate ticks. Yes, you eat the bugs. That's right. You will eat the bugs. You will be happy. Only in China, like a giant ant farm housing 30,000 humans, the ultimate smart city, sustainable living, Agenda 21 style, stack 'em and pack 'em, and experiment in peak efficiency, the science of social engineering run amok. Technocrats in China lost their shirt with this huge luxury hotel, so they carved it into tiny apartments to maximize revenue and house as many as 30,000 residents. Some will be born there and never leave. Wow. That's mind-blowing. And there it is. Could you imagine that? 30,000 people in this thing? It was a luxury hotel and they've got a lot, they built a lot of these. They had this building boom, and they have all these empty cities. And I guess they're going to just fill them up and pack them tight, man. Wow. China is a technocracy that exports itself around the world to Asia, Africa, South America, and even to America. 30,000 people living in this building in China. Man, that is way too much. Let me check this out here.
Apartment is a luxury hotel located in Hangzhou, China. It is situated in the central business district of city, close to the Westlake scenic area and other popular attractions. You may have come across the viral video of this building in social media platforms saying that there are 30,000 people living here in this Regent International building. This building was initially constructed as a 6-star hotel. Then it was converted into shared apartment complex, changing its design and splitting it into smaller rooms. There is still no proper information explanation about why the design was changed and divided into small rooms. And according to social media, there are 30,000 people living in this building. But it's absolutely a lie that is spread on social media. And according to some Chinese reports, there are somewhere around 10 to 20,000 people staying here. But again, this is as per the Chinese reports and can't trust them either. And nobody knows the exact number of people staying here. What do you think? Is there any possibility of 30,000 people living here? Nobody knows the truth. We tried to search this building on Google Maps and Google Earth, but we didn't find anything. We tried by its name like Region International Apartment, Hangzhou Apartment, Hangzhou Building, etc. But we didn't find anything regarding this building. And after a long search on internet, on Google Earth, on Google Maps, we finally found it with the name that says Qianjing Century Park. If you want to find, you can search by these letters and you can find this building. And is Chinese government trying to hide this building from outside world? What do you think?
Well, that is a lot of people in one building. Yes. It says where all 20,000 residents live under one roof and you never need to go out. The Regent International Apartment Building in Guangzhou Century City. Nothing like you've ever seen. Well, that's what they want. Us all to live in little cubicles in our own small neighborhood. That's quite a bit. EU seeks, yes, I heard about this. The EU seeks rule to ban repairs on cars older than 15 years old. Yeah, I don't know, did I? Yeah, I don't think I've read this article before. You have to wonder if lame-thinking bureaucrats stay awake at night trying to figure out ways to destroy the world. You would be right. When technocrats cannot get their way, think EVs, smart grid, etc., they simply ban the alternatives to tell you that it is for your own good. Banning repairs on older cars effectively sends them to the junkyard and destroys the auto repair industry. Yeah, well, they're trying that in California too. They've outlawed parts for older diesel equipment, because I have an older tractor and I can't get some parts for it, so I have to get my parts repaired. And my mechanic told me, he says, if you get me the parts, I can do it, but I can't get the parts for you because it's against the law. So I have to source my own parts for my tractor. So I'm looking for parts anyway. And I've found all the parts, but now I have to get the crank fixed in it. So, but they have ways of getting that done. Here in Cuba, they make their own parts for cars. And I guess with this new printing machines, you can print parts, maybe. We'll see. Technocrats claim AI breakthrough to generate boundless clean fusion energy, but you won't get any of it, I'll bet. Yeah, we could all have our own nuclear reactor. Or each of our neighborhoods could have their own nuclear reactor, and it could be safe, too. As safe as what they're doing. Yeah. But really, they don't want us to have it because they have a monopoly on electricity. Yeah. And they keep raising the price on it on purpose. So they don't want us to be free. Okay, I'm going to try a break here because I need to do a break. Okay, let me see if I can get this break to go here. Okay, this is a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Arthur, and I'd like to introduce you to my latest book, Reformed Prophecy Interpretation, an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism in the 21st century. As with primitive biblical Christianity, historicism is the method of prophecy interpretation restored with the advent of the Protestant Reformation, and had become so widely held that for a long time it was called the Protestant view. My book is not so much about the errors of dispensationalism or amillennialism. Rather, it is about the historicist alternative to understanding many of the same passages from the vantage point of prophecy fulfilled in history. For those that desire more than mere hypotheses, bolstered with conjectured speculation, those who require explicit biblical exegesis and verified historical fulfillment, and are not willing to accept speculation as anything other than what it is. Speculation, not truth. This book is for you. Over the last century, this method of interpretation has become almost completely forgotten, even by Protestants, in the face of a method that is based almost entirely on future speculation, rather than fulfilled prophecy in history. In my book, I examine the reasons for this and investigate some of the prophecy which has been fulfilled in the interim, as well as present an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism to the 21st century. If you're interested in a copy of my book, you can go to my website, crosstheborder.org, and get more information there. Or you may also find it at Amazon. Okay. Let's see. Blackbird says, did you hear about the president of El Salvador's government got rid of all the corrupt judges, lawyers, and prosecutors, etc.? They told the globalists to take a hike. He spoke at CPAC a few days ago. Yeah, I did hear about it. I saw some of that. That's great stuff. But Shelley says, America will probably end up invading them now. Yeah, if Joe Biden had his way. Well, if he wasn't busy over in Israel and Ukraine, we definitely would. Or they might be even planning it now, you know. We can't have liberty spreading in other parts of the world. But I guess the big prize right now is Russia. They really want a world war with Russia, it seems. Yeah. Let's see. Good to see you over there, Craig, in the whatever chat room that is, the YouTube chat room. Don't think I've seen you before. Enjoying the show. glad to hear that. And okay. Well, what else am I going to talk about here? What is going on in the world? What can we expect? Either Trump will be president, or we'll have World War III and martial law, or they could assassinate him. I mean, I guess that's the last card that they want to play. They don't want him in there. I mean, look what they did to Kennedy. They didn't want him in there. And if you become president and the government, the shadow government doesn't want you in there, then they'll do what they've done for 500 or 600 years. Just assassinate you. The poison cup, whatever it takes. Or get some nut job, MK Ultra shooter, that's someone they programmed to take you down, Trump or Kennedy, either one of them, if either one of them got in. I don't think they're too worried about Kennedy getting in, but I don't know. We're going to have to see how this thing shakes out. A lot of people are paying attention to Kennedy. And I really have a hard time deciding whether I would rather have Kennedy or Trump in, if that's the choice. And that seems like it's going to be the choice, because I don't see Joe Biden as a choice anyway. Not even, will they cheat for Joe Biden again? I kind of have my doubts about that. What do you guys think? Yeah, well, yes, of course, only Jesus is trustworthy, but, we're going to have to live here until he comes again or we go to him. So that's why we're talking about it. But yeah, if I didn't have Jesus, then I would be worried about it. But this kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering how it's going to turn out. Because the worst case is we have some kind of civil war or something. If Trump doesn't win, and the cheating is as obvious as it was last time, well, how will people react? Or will there be enough people to be aware that the cheating won't happen? I mean, it's crazy, because remember they had the Georgia runoff, and I'm pretty sure they cheated on that because they were cheating all along. And that Georgia runoff decided the Senate, because it could have gone Republican, but it didn't because of that Georgia runoff election. But nobody fixed anything before that runoff, so that was as trustworthy as the other elections that happened several months before it. So, and that's all it takes is like if you have the House and the presidency, or if you have the Senate and the presidency, you roll. It's 2 out of 3. That's the way it's come with our 2-party system. So I wish there was no parties at all. I say, you think about this often, that, they shouldn't have a campaign. Everybody, I don't know, they should have debates, absolutely. One-on-one debates. Everyone should have the same opportunity to present the case, to make them, to be voted into whatever office they're going to. Shouldn't be decided by who has the most money or the most corporations, who can get the most people, the most money to advertise. There should be no advertising at all. It should be, well, now today, you go to this website and you can see what this side says it's going to do, what it says about the other side. You go to the other guy's website, what they say they're going to do, what they say about the other side, and everyone makes their case. You can sponsor debates, all of that stuff, but it shouldn't be down to money, all this money that's going around, and running a campaign and campaigning to get more money because money corrupts everything. So the money factor should be taken out of it totally. That's my feelings. I mean, if you're really going to have a true democratic vote and a true democratic vote count, then the money should be removed because money is makes things unequal as far as starting. Yes, the lesser of two evils is still evil. Who's in Canada? Somebody said, you're in Canada. Asking me, am I in Canada? Oh, no. Blackbird said, I'll take Trump and Biden if you'll take Trudeau. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess that means Blackbird is in Canada. Because, well, I don't know. You got Trudeau over here in California. And California is almost as big as Canada. Actually, by population. Isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I think actually California may be bigger than Canada. What's the population of Canada and what's the population of California? And we have a Jesuit. Well, I'm sure Trudeau's a Jesuit. If he isn't, he should be. He would, if he isn't a Jesuit, they would easily make him an honorary Jesuit. You know, give him an honorary degree at some Jesuit university. But of course, the governor of California is openly a Jesuit. You can look it up on his Wikipedia page. He's Jesuit trained, and it shows. You know, he's just like Trudeau. Yeah, they're both communists, fascists, serving their Antichrist. Yeah, I think we are 20 million, says Blackbird. I think California is more than 20 million. Yeah. I think it is. California is a huge state. It takes a long time to go all the way from the south end to the north end of it. It's big. So what's the population of California? Let's see. We go population of California. Population of California. Oh, that should be enough. Okay. 38,889,000 in 2024. So, and you're 20 million? So yeah, California is bigger. So, see, comparing California and Canada is a good comparison because we both have Jesuit governors running, or presidents, or whatever you call Trudeau. Yeah. She says, okay, great. How do I change my text color? Your text color is nice. I got purple and gray here. I don't know how it looks on your computer, but it looks different. It's only for you. What other people see is not what you see in this text, in this chat room at First Amendment Radio. At least I don't think it is. Yeah, because I can pull it up in two different browsers. I think it looks different in both of them. All right, so the population of California is 38 million as of the last official United States. So if I go population of Canada, let's see. Population of Canada. Okay. What are these? Oh, it's 30. Wait a minute. It says 38,000. Is that the same? Wait a minute. 38,997. Population of California is 38,000. Oh, you guys have 100,000 more people than California. So actually just about the same. California and Canada are about the same size governments and people-wise. Yeah. And we have a lot of empty space in California, too. A lot of wilderness and mountains. And we also have ocean, yeah. Although not quite as big as Canada, but yeah, our population is the same. Imagine that. I never knew that before. So there we go, Blackbird. You got 38 million people. That is the same as California. And I just saw a mouse run across the floor. Yeah, we've been having a lot of mice this year. So, all right, I'm getting to the end of the hour, and I got to make sure I don't run over. Okay, everybody. Let's see. What else? Did I miss anything here? Savvy and witty. Well, the end of the electrified road. I hope it's really here, that everybody's done with electric vehicles and burning down their apartment buildings and sinking ships from burning cars on being shipped overseas, and the fires that you can't put out. Yeah. If you have one, don't put it in your house. Even e-bikes catch buildings on fire in New York. Probably in other places too. It's just more people have them in New York, I guess. So they have been having a lot of e-bike fires from the batteries catching on fire. These things are very volatile. Yeah. So I hope we can say goodbye to the electric vehicle fad. But let's go back to perfecting the gasoline and the diesel engine. We were doing a really good job, I think, from what I hear. Highway robbery continues to be the law of the land. Let's see, seizure fever is toxifying law enforcement across the nation. For more than 30 years, federal, state, and local government agencies have plundered citizens on practically any harebrained accusation or pretext. You could be at risk of being pilfered by officialdom anytime you sit behind a steering wheel. Between 20 lawmen seized more than $2.5 billion in cash from 60,000 travelers on the nation's highways, with no criminal charges in most cases. According to the Washington Post, federal, state, and local law enforcement have institutionalized shakedowns on the nation's highways to the point that forfeiture corridors are the new speed traps, as Mother Jones observed. That has to end. I don't see how it's gone on for so long. They're highwaymen, the highwaymen of olden times, of the 19th century, were robbers on horses. They'd rob stagecoaches and people and families and trains. They were the highwaymen. That's what they called them, highwaymen. They lived on the highway. They made their living on the highway by robbing other people. Well, now they've institutionalized it. And if you got a lot of cash and they stop you, they're going to steal it from you. So when they say, "Can I search your car?" you say, "No, you get a search warrant." That's all you say. Say, "Well, we've got to wait for one," and whatever. They'll always try to talk you into it. But make them get a search warrant. Yeah, they have to have probable cause, I would think. And a lot of these people just innocently say, "Oh, okay, yeah." Or, I have this money, but, I took it out of my bank because I'm going to go buy this thing. Sorry, we're taking that cash. And then they start a case, the state of California versus $45,000 cash. They sue the cash. They charge the cash, not you. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just how people could do that and even think that it's okay and call themselves law enforcement on top of that. Yes, they can find almost any excuse to pull someone over. We have so damn many laws. You can't drive the streets without breaking the law, he says. Rolling checkpoints on busy highways and pulling over motorists for minor violations such as following too closely or improper signaling, and looked for supposed indicators of criminality, which can include anything as trash on the floor of a vehicle or abundant energy drinks. In Tejana, Texas, Authorities confiscated $3 million from motorists passing through East Texas. The name of the court filings captured Tehanna's rapacity, such as State of Texas versus one gold crucifix. The police had confiscated a simple gold cross that a woman wore around her neck after pulling her over for a minor traffic violation. No contraband was reported, no criminal charges were filed, and no traffic ticket issued, the New Yorker noted. Then the drivers refused to part with their money. Officers threatened to arrest them on a false money laundering charge and other serious felonies. An American Civil Liberties Union lawsuit charged, and the police stopped a 27-year-old black man who worked as a chicken slicer in an Arkansas Tyson plant and fleeced him of $3,900 after accusing him of driving too close to the white line. Driving too close to the white line. After the police warned Jennifer Boatwright that they would take custody of her children if she refused to surrender the thousands of dollars she carried to buy a used car, she burst into tears and thought, "Where are we? Is this some kind of foreign country where they're selling people's kids off?" The American Civil Liberties lawsuit, the Texas legislature compelled the town to cease the abusive seizures around 2012. However, most victims never got their property back. Yes. 2016, Muskogee, Oklahoma. County, Oklahoma deputies hit the sirens and pulled over a 45-year-old Burmese refugee driving down Highway 69 for a broken taillight. Ed Waugh, a naturalized U.S. citizen living in Dallas, was a manager for a Christian rock band that has been on tour raising more than $50,000 for a Thai orphanage and a Christian college in Burma. Police found the money and a drug dog alerted, so the money was seized. Even though Waugh had papers documenting his mission and the source of the income, no drugs were found, but a Muskogee deputy later insisted the fact in this particular case we didn't find drug doesn't mean it was a false hit by the dog. While he was interrogated and threatened for 6 hours, he was told, "We are going to jail. You're going to jail tonight." It was a terrifying experience for someone whose English was shaky and who fled a nation where the police were tyrannical. The sheriff's department kept the money, but let Waugh travel on. 5 weeks after he left Oklahoma, Waugh was charged with acquiring proceeds from drug activity, a felony. The primary evidence was the dog's alert. The Oklahoma perfidy was torpedoed by Dan Albin, an Institute for Justice attorney who thwarted many outrageous cash seizures. Albin took Waugh's case and told the Muskogee Phoenix that the timing of the charge suggests they were trying to strong-arm Ed Waugh so that he would give up the money in the civil forfeiture case in exchange for a plea deal in the criminal case. On the same day, the Washington Post published an article on the case. Muskogee County dropped the charge and promised to send a full refund. Well, that's one of the happier stories. It should never have happened. Perverse incentives propel plunder. Yeah, it's just theft using a badge, the color of law. How sad. And you'd think that this is still going on. What are these people doing in Congress over here if they're not doing something about this? And how has this come about? What law was passed that allowed them to do this? Whatever it is, it needs to be reversed. And but they have nothing better to do than make sure you can't fix your diesel engine in your tractor, and try to push electric vehicles. Electric vehicles on you, and take away your gas stoves, and crazy. The whole world has gone crazy. So, yeah, you'd think they don't care. Yeah, somebody should care. Well, at least there's somebody that cares that's helping these people out. But yeah, there's just story after story here from LouRockwell.com. Yes, anti-state, anti-war, and pro-market. That's very libertarian. And I tend to lean libertarian. Yes, definitely. As far as drugs, I think drugs should be decriminalized, but not legalized. How about that? Yeah, because if people want to do it, they're going to do it, whether it's legal or not, or criminalized or not. And because they criminalized it, then you have all the cartels and stuff that are there to sell what's been criminalized. And so that only raises up a whole nother industry of illegal and killings and turf wars and stuff like that. And that's what the law creates with good intentions, perhaps, but nobody thinks out the end or even goes into history to realize how it's going to turn out when they do something like that. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let me check the chat room, see if we got anybody else out here. Mafia pretending to be government. Hey, there's so much as protection rackets are running rampant through the government. Social Security system is a protection racket system. All of your insurance companies are protection rackets. They're just legalized protection rackets. And they're doing it with health, insurance now too. Income tax, you pay, or, under threat and duress. The people are afraid not to pay. It's like a protection racket. It's the government mafia. I agree. That's why I don't do business with those people myself. It says this is what the early stages of a severe recession looks like. Yeah, property tax. Yeah, that's the worst one of all, because they'll put you out in the street if you don't pay your state rent. Because that's what it boils down to. If they have a higher interest in your property, if they have a higher property right than you do, because you can't kick the state out, but they can kick you out. So it would be neat if you get antennae to whatever that is on your show. He's a libertarian. He wrote the book Government's Biggest Scam in History, something like that, huh? Yeah. Yes. I can't even say his name or her name or whatever that name is. Atene de la Bote 2. Anyway, send me a link. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I'd love to talk about property tax. What are we doing about property tax? Can we get our senators and our legislators? Because if public schools are failing, I don't want to keep paying for them. Hey, you know what? I think I'm out of time.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. The Supreme Court is taking up a case to decide if former President Donald Trump is entitled to broad immunity from prosecution related to acts allegedly committed while in office. Shannon Bream explains.
It almost doesn't matter at this point whether he wins or loses. It does matter. But as far as the timeline is concerned, that's the huge